Hello, everybody, and welcome to the unfortunate, a little bit later than usual, late night gaming. I'm going to firstly apologize for the fact that I have to wear this headphone. For some reason, when I was out in Denver, I lost my charger for my mixer, and so my other microphone just doesn't work anymore. Well, it works, but there's no power to it. So I have to get either a new charger from Radio Shack or something like that. Speaking of which, Denver Comic Con was absolutely fantastic and fun. I had one of the greatest times out there, and I will forever and ever remember that. I was able to host two panels while I was out there. I hosted the Late Night Gaming, hosted the Mass Effect voice actors, so I was able to meet Mark Meer, Kimberly Brooks, Jennifer Hale, Raphael Sparge. If you don't know who they are, then shame on you, but um, Kimberly Brooks played Ashley, Jennifer Hale played Fem Shep. I can get there. I'll get there eventually. But Raphael Sparge played Caden, and Mark Meer played Shepard, Commander. So I got to hang out with them for a little while and talk with them, ask them questions, and with a room full of 600 to 800 more people who were just wanting to ask questions and figure out what was going on. Denver Comic Con was really nice to me as well. I was able to meet some of the developers for one of the games I'm going to talk about tonight, and that was Dragons and Titans. But before I get there, I want to talk to you a little bit about Murder Soul Suspect. Great game. I was just playing. I literally just stopped playing it to come do this podcast because I wanted to get some literally hands-on time right before we started this show. So the premise of the game, the very first scene you see is you barge in on some sort of disturbance call. You don't know where the call comes from. All you know is your character, Ronan, jumps in there, and this guy with some ungodly amount of strength starts kicking the crap out of you. And he throws you through a window, and you land on the ground, and you start to get up. You're like, I have no idea how I survived that. And then you go to open a door, and the door won't budge, and you find out, well, you're actually dead. And that's where the game actually starts. So the beginning is actually really cool because it's taking you through, and you're starting to get your hands on and the controls and stuff like that. The buttons, A, B, X, and Y, they don't work unless you're prompted to push it. So literally the game is, if you like this style of game, it's a whodunit type of game. You're looking for clues. Every scene, every part of the game, you're looking for another clue. And as you start to find more and more clues, as you start to push further and further, you're starting to start revealing who killed you and how you died. But before then, you actually meet your wife who died, who you see die in the beginning, and she tells you all of this. She's like, hey, you can't cross over because something in your life is unfinished. You have to finish whatever this is in your life that's unfinished. And it's kind of a little bit of a heartbreaker. I felt like they maybe could have pulled a little bit more on the heartstrings if they had time to really make you fall in love with the character, but they really didn't. They really want to jump into the game, start pushing the concept of, hey, you're a detective and you're trying to figure out what's going on. You as a detective, though, you have a pretty colorful past. I mean, you have tattoos all over you that explain, what your past is like, why you are the way you are, and that is, it's kind of a very brief explanation. I really like how they did it. They were telling you the story through all of your tattoos that are on your arms. As something happens in your life, you get another tattoo, and further they start to explain that. The very first scene you jump into is this little girl telling you how, what your powers were, what your strengths were in real life are your powers in the afterlife, and so possession and things like that. That's the backstory of the game. I really like all that. The very beginning's a pretty cool opening. It's a lot of watching, so if you're not into that type of thing, then you may not want to play this game. If you're really into an action game, this really isn't a game for you. I like this game because it's pretty slow paced. It's nice. You get to kind of really think about some things. As far as I know, the puzzles so far have been thinking puzzles, except for the last one. You get to possess a cat, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you get to possess a cat, and you have to get to a room, and so it's kind of like a jumping puzzle, but you don't get the jump, so it's kind of weird, but it was actually a little enjoyable. It was fun. One thing that I kind of felt that is annoying me so far are the controls. And if you guys have ever heard me speak about a game before, that's a big thing with me. I love when controls just work really, really well and they're there. I feel like this game could really work on its controls a little bit more because you have such a narrow area. I mean, literally, like on the screen, you have this much to like hit your mark so that you can see what's in front of you. And there was one side quest that I did while I was playing the game just now that I couldn't. Like I had to like keep going back and forth and like kind of finagling the controls just right so I could get that. It was a very small little window that I had to hit because you get this really small window and then you get an even smaller target and it's just almost impossible to hit the dang thing. And so that really irritated me that they did that. The controls are really it's the left button and the left joystick and the right joystick for forward, back, left, right, and then your camera controls are on the right, like any other for a third person, like Batman or something like that has that third person kind of view. The The bumpers have some of the bumper. One of the bumpers, the right bumper, actually shows you a different view where you can see the demons that are in the game. So you kind of get a little of a fair advantage from them. They're not terribly hard to kill, but again, that one control on that game is you have this small window to jump behind them, and if you miss, you got to run and hide. And if you miss a few times, they look for you longer and longer. So it's hard to say get right behind them. Like you got to kind of walk up and kind of like army crawl at them. As you really kind of sneak up on them. But if you don't do it quick enough, they turn around and they get you. So it's a give and take on there. So as far as that. The left trigger is run, and the right trigger is, you walk up to an object and you can do that. The buttons on the right-hand side, if you hit X, Y, or A or B, they only do something when you have a item in front of you. And if you hit it any other time, it just doesn't do anything. So it's really focused in on the story. It's a really heavy story. I'm enjoying it so far for what it is. There's small little frustrations with the game, like when you try and pick up things. So I highly, highly recommend checking it out. What I'm going to plan on doing is restarting the game and stream it, and hopefully I get some viewers to kind of help me out, and we can kind of make it like an interactive thing. If you don't have the game, you can kind of play with me, and you could tell me, hey, look over there. If you look down here, there's an item, or if I'm stuck on trying to figure out how to get an item solved or something, or a quest solved or something like that, you can help me out. So stay tuned for that. If you want to be involved with that, subscribe on Twitter, subscribe on Facebook. I will post all of my live streams on there as well. So the more you subscribe, wherever you're subscribed is where you are. Also, I got some game codes at Denver Comic Con, so I will be doing a giveaway. If you want to win something from me, I have 3 WildStar guest passes, which are good for 7 days for free. So you get to download the game, and you get to essentially own the game for free. You don't have to buy it, and then you can just start paying for it monthly if you want to play it. If you are interested in winning one of those, or if you're interested, I will be doing a drawing for anybody who is subscribing to Twitter and Facebook. You don't have to subscribe to both. It would be you subscribe to both, you get a double entry. The more people I get to subscribe, the better. But I will be doing a giveaway on those, and I will keep track of whoever subscribes from tonight being June the 23rd, 2014. So from now until I'm going to say July 4th is when I'll do the drawing. So you'll be able to enjoy some Wild Star for the weekend, and see if you like it, see if you want to own it, or if you want the Battle Group 2 key code, which is full 100% the whole game, Battlefield 2. Just to kind of give you a little bit of background on Battlefield 2, feel free to check out the link below. I will be posting a link on Battlefield 2, but Battlefield 2 is a game where it's Battleship, the old Battleship like tabletop game on steroids, and awesome. So if you want to check that out, if you want that code, do subscribe to my channel, also Facebook and Twitter. If you subscribe to all three of those, I'll say it right here. You get 3 entries. The more people, the better. If you do subscribe and I only get like 5 people, then I'll give you a choice of either code and go for it. So the more the merrier, the better, the more fun this is. And anyway, carrying on, let's talk a little bit about Dragons and Titans. If you like MOBAs, this is a game to play. It's a quick game. It's fun. It's the premise of this game is that you have a dragon that has 2 abilities. And you have a weapon that has 2 abilities. And you can mix and match the dragons with the weapons, and you can make like a hybrid attack support class, or you can make like a full support or full attack, or all damage, or all tank, or damage tank, damage heals. There's a ton of different possibilities, and I've been playing it for the last couple of days. The queues are pretty quick. There's about 500 to 600 people right now playing the game. They just got greenlit. I had a fun time really talking with the developers of this. So the plan is to make this mobile, so that you can put it on iPad, iOS devices, and play wherever you are. And you can play multiplayer. It's going to be a multiplayer thing. There are single-player campaigns in there, and they're not bad. I mean, you get to kind of play and just kind of goof off and play with the different dragons and see what they're like. And so this game very much differs from any other MOBA out there because of the fact that there are minions, but you're not farming them for an advantage. It's not based on how well you can right-click and watch a health bar. This one is kind of based on teamwork. If you go off into your own and you get snagged by 2 enemy dragons, you're pretty much dead. Same thing, vice versa. The best fights I've ever seen were like 3-on-3, 4-on-4. Those are the best fights. When you get to 5-on-5, it becomes kind of messy. I really like this game though because it's just simple and it's fun, and you don't really have to practice to just play the game. You can play the game and just have a little bit of fun for a couple minutes. It's not a competitive game. It's a very casual style game. So if you're looking for a competitive game, stick with the Infinite Crisis, stick with League of Legends. Those are the ones that are going to be your very much so competitive style games. But if you want, I will also post a link to this in Steam. It is free. You will be able to just download it. It's a very quick download, not a very big game. It runs very smoothly on pretty much any machine. And I really, really like where it's going. And I had a lot of, I mean, you go through the first 5 simple quests, and you get to try out a couple of different dragons and see their abilities. And the skill cap in this game is not very high. And if you get into it and you like to play it, that's great. Look for me. I'm on there with my name is Unfit's on there, or Unfit, sorry. And yeah, it's been really cool. So I really enjoyed it. I got to talk with the developers about it. The whole idea behind the game is just to give some people a MOBA style game that's really quick. You can sit down like on a lunch break, play a couple matches, one or two, because each match is about 5 or 10 to 15 minutes. And I mean, literally, they do not take very long. There's a MOBA, I mean, there's MOBA style maps on there. So you got an ARAM, all random, all middle. What that means is it's one lane. Some people call it Murder Bridge. It's one lane. There is no you can't go back to buy anything, but you don't actually buy anything in this game. Let me kind of explain what a typical match will look like. So there is a 3-lane map, and when I say lanes, it's not really lanes. So it's kind of hard to describe without showing you a picture of the map, but I don't have a picture of the map right now. So it's kind of you have a base, and then in the middle you have these kind of 3 lanes, and then you have um, kind of they're towers, but they're not like League of Legends where they're shooting back at you and doing tons of damage. Um, they're more like an inhibitor, but they're not spawning minions. So it's really, like I said, it's really kind of difficult to explain without showing you a map. But essentially, what's happening is you're going and you're destroying the defenses, and then you go and the whole point is to unleash the Titan. So hence the name Dragons and Titans. So you go through, and as you're starting to build up your character, you're leveling these things. There's only 4 abilities. You have Q, W, E, and R, and passive ability. So that part is much like League of Legends. Where it really starts to differ is that you're not right-clicking all the time to move your character back and forth. So you're just holding it, and it's kind of following a reticle, a little bullseye on the screen. So it follows this bullseye on the screen, and it'll auto lock onto a Titan, or I'm sorry, a dragon as you're playing. So if you auto lock on the dragon, you can start moving your guy around and firing off your spells, and so that's where it kind of becomes a little bit easier than say a competitive sport or a competitive game like League of Legends. As far as the abilities go and the animation, it looks really cool. I'm not going to put it on the top of my list for, you know, best looking game of the year, but for a MOBA style game, I would say it looks really good in its infancy. I mean, it's a relatively new game, so there's a lot of time that they have to redevelop or not redevelop, but start making better character models and such. So give it a little bit of time, play around with it. I love it, and I'm going to post a link down in the description here to that game, Dragons and Titans. So I want to talk more about Comic-Con, but I want to get to the next thing on the list here, and that is this comic here. I picked it up. Project Black Sky. I picked this one up, and I was kind of leery about it because it has a big ape and a guy that looks rather ridiculous, Captain Midnight here. He looks ridiculous. I really think that played very well into what they were going for here. It's very campy. It's very self-aware, I would say. The artistry in here is pretty cool. I mean, I could definitely stare at this for a while. It takes place in the future, and there are 2 main characters, and it introduces a third. So the main character is Captain Midnight and or the main characters are Captain Midnight and Brain Boy. Brain Boy is a younger guy in his own generation. Captain Midnight is very much a spin-off of Captain America. That much is so true. And he's from the past, and they brought him to the future somehow. They don't really explain it in this comic book, but this is one of the earlier additions to trying to get you into the series so that you go back and buy all of them. Those are the ones that I've kind of been debuting on the dollar debut here. So every week there's that dollar debut thing, and we keep I've been trying to do as much as possible. But with the weeks coming up to Denver Comic Con, everything was crazy, and it was crazy fun, and I want to explain more about that. But Project Black Sky is essentially, there's a weapon called Apex that we're trying to have Captain Midnight secure. Well, Apex turns out to be something a little bit more, and that would be this giant guy here. As the comic book goes on, you start to figure out that there are bigger things at play here. And Apex, APE-X, is actually not the bad guy, and he's been tortured by Project Black Sky, or at least that's what we can assume so far since we've read. And this comic book is published by Dark Horse. There are lots of different ones, and as a matter of fact, here's one of their other ones called Ghost, another Black Sky type thing. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was very campy. Kind of gave me a couple chuckles here and a few smiles, and I really did enjoy it. I thought it was a great product here. And I said great product here. Who says that? Anyway, it's a great comic book. I suggest reading it if you like that kind of self-aware, campy kind of thing. All right, so back to Denver Comic Con here for just a second. I was able to hang out at Denver Comic Con and meet just tons and tons of awesome people. If you go over to Late Night Gaming, or if you follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or even on YouTube, um, you'll get a lot of information. Most likely Facebook and Twitter, because I will be posting up on there a lot of all the different interviews that I was able to get while I was at the Comic Con. I was able to get some people to give me some really cool, awesome stuff. For instance, I'm really excited to read this new book coming up called the oh, gosh Bane of Yodo. I couldn't read Yodo backwards for some reason. Sorry about that. But Bane of Yodo, it's very much based off of a comic book and video game. There's an iPad version that'll actually kind of interactively show you through the game or the book itself. I mean, I have met so many awesome people. Some people here that I have cards for. So Like You Know is another podcast that I was able to talk to those guys. Real Nerds, REEL Nerds. They're all about just movies. So they go to a movie every week and then they do like a little podcast about it. I was able to meet this guy here who gave me a free postcard. And if you don't know about the Blue Denver, whose name is Lucky, the guy who made this was actually killed by this horse. I don't know the full story, but you can look it up. It is at the Denver airport, and he makes a video or a game on the iPad that you run around as Lucky and uses laser eyes and you destroy parts of downtown Denver. So if you're a local to Denver and you want to know what it's like to destroy downtown Denver with Lucky, then download the game. I think it's on App Store and Android Market. So just a little bit quick shout out to Good Luck Have Fun. That guy was awesome. These guys, if you're into developing, check these guys out. These are the Toy Makers Guild. Like I said, I met tons and tons of people. You're going to see a lot of stuff starting to come through here. Hopefully some game codes and things like that. And just tons and tons of stuff. More interviews, more content. Just lots of different things, guys. And I really need your help. It's just me. And I work quite a bit to make this happen every week. So I need your guys' help for the most part to get me the questions. What do you guys out there as the consumer, as the person who's going to buy these games, what do you want to know? What is the burning question you have for these developers? If you're really into indie games, next couple of weeks, tune in here because it's going to be Indie Game Central. Not only that, I'm going to try and do as much as I can to start playing other games. Check me out on my live stream, which is twitch.tv/unfitgames. I'll be doing live streams of any games that I'm playing as much as I can. So, feel free to stop by, check that stuff out. But back to Denver Comic Con. I have interviews, about 6 or 7 different interviews from different people. One of the interviews is very interesting, and it's from Isla, I think her name. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. She was from Quarter Heart Studios, and one of their games is a real-time turn-based strategy game where you get to walk up and punch your opponents. I think it's pretty cool. But the greatest part about the game is you don't have to stick to one game to finish it like you would with like a Words of Friends. So anybody can join in and pick up on the game where it left off using the exact same models and stuff like that. They're looking for feedback. So if you see part of this game or are testing part of this game and you think, oh, this would be really great, they love when you give them feedback. These people who play these games, who develop these games, love it when you give them feedback. So I will, like I said, I'm going to be posting a lot of different things that I'm talking about here in this episode down in the comments below because of all the fun people that I met at Denver Comic Con. but there's a lot of interviews, and you can see them all at the website over at latenightgaming.net. I am working very hard to get as many of them up. One of them I have up right now is from Arson Game, or not Arson, but Arcen Games, ARCEN, about the game that they just released called The Last Federation, and that is a strategy game. If you're a real-time strategy player, that is a game you want to pick up and play because Civilization ain't got nothing on this. This and AI, these two games are just insanely hard, insanely fun to play. They're so it's like a if you've ever played Dark Souls, it's worse than that as far as difficulty goes and wanting to punch your computer in the face goes. But the interview with them is up on the website, latenightgaming.net. It's right on the front page. I actually did change the front page from what it used to be to the coverage of Denver Comic Con as I'm starting to release more and more stuff. You can also see all the photos that I was able to take, and by all of them, I really mean not very many because I didn't get a camera fast enough, and so I used my iPhone, and while I was there, Sprint and their awesome Infinite Wisdom does not have coverage in the Denver convention area, so I wasn't able to really keep you guys up to date as much as I really wanted to, so I really do apologize about that. I'm very sorry that I kind of left you guys out in the dark, but I'm compiling it all now. I'm throwing it up on the website. I'm going to leave it up there for a couple weeks, and then I'm going to go back to my normal setup where I had it before. But you are going to start seeing more articles come out by me because I'm not going to be able to talk about all these indie games on the show because Megan Fox from, and I'm very sorry about this, but I will post where she's from, just sent me an email about a new game that they're coming out with that very much looks like a Zelda style game with 4 different classes, and they're trying to get greenlit. Lots and lots of stuff to talk about. I'm hopefully going to get in touch with Megan and see if she will come on the show and just kind of talk about it a little bit more because it's in its very, from what I understand, it's in its infinite alpha stage. And so I'm really hoping that I can get them to come out and talk about that and get more people to, start talking about it. Again, guys, if you are out there and you want to know more about these games, feel free to hit their websites. Like, I'm going to try and post as much information I can about all these. I just got the press kit for the new game coming out by them. But again, I've met so many great people. I'm going to talk more and more about the Denver Comic Con just because that's where I've met them all, and hopefully they'll come out on the show and they'll support the show. And that's where you, the viewers, come in for the most part. Most of this stuff is going to be on the live show. Everything's going to be a live show. Let me rephrase that. Everything's just going to be a live show. But for what we really, really want is interaction from the community. That's what I'm here for. I want to build community, and I want you, the gamers out there, to, when you see me at Denver Comic Con or you see me at the next convention that I go to, which I don't know which one that is yet, so hopefully I can hit a gaming convention and see some more developers and talk to more developers as media again. But if you're out there, tell your friends, tell everybody you can, and if you're really into indie games, next couple of weeks and into the next few months is going to be really crucial that you tune in here because I'm going to be talking quite a bit about indies. I happen to love indie games. They bring back nostalgia for me. I am an NES, or even before that, like Atari, Commodore 64 type stuff gamer. So I love old school stuff. I like paying homage to that. I mean, when Nintendo's releasing my entire childhood again as in games, Star Fox, Metroid, Link, or I should say Zelda, sorry. But my entire childhood of video games is being re-released, so I'm super excited to see that. So Denver Comic Con was a huge success, and if I could do it again, I think the only thing I would do differently was push harder to get some of my some people that helped me out before on the show to actually come out and do it because I felt very stretched thin. I wanted to do more. I did have to moderate 2 panels. Well, I say have to like they forced me to, but I got to moderate 2 panels with some very awesome people from the Mass Effect crew. Kimberly, Brooks, Jennifer Hale, Raphael Sparge, and Mark Muir. I said that before at the very beginning of the show, but I'm just so happy that I got to do it. My second panel was in the big main theater. I had over 800 people check that one out. Also, if you go over to Late Night Gaming, google.com plus late night gaming net, you can actually see the panel that I hosted. It's a two-parter. It's in the main auditorium. It's not the Mass Effect voices, but it is the video game voices. And the the lady in the middle, whose name is Ashley, she actually is the voice of Cartman. So I got to hang out with the voice of I'm sorry, not voice of Cartman, but voice of Cartman's mom. So I got to hang out with her. She did so many video games. It's not even funny. Like, I can't even begin to name them just because my brain freaked out by the amount of voices that she's done. She also does like 7 voices for South Park. Most people know her by South Park. Quite a few may know her from video games as well, but she has just a lengthy amount of just video game credits. So I got to hang out with her, and everyone's great. Every one of those people were just so down to earth and so awesome, and really wanted to just answer any question you ever threw at them. So that was my Denver Comic Con experience. I would love to moderate more panels next year. I would love to moderate any panel that's out there. If you are listening and you're going to be putting a convention together and there's going to be panels that need to be moderated, let me know. I'll throw some stuff together, and I love doing it. So that's pretty much Denver Comic Con's wrap up for me. It was a great experience. I really enjoyed it, and I got to meet a ton of really awesome people, and I ran into, some friends and everyone. It just seemed like if I could do that for a living, I would love to. So that's my goal, obviously. But um, with that being said, I'm going to wrap that up. I can't stress it enough, guys. The more you thumbs up me on Facebook, the more you leave comments, the more you the more you follow me on Facebook and Twitter, the more it helps me out, because I'm going to be perfectly transparent about this. The more you guys say you like me, the more that I can make money off of this. My goal is to put anything that I make back into the show. Better camera, better lighting, maybe not a big white Venetian blind behind me. So, maybe actually get some, a nice little studio set up and stuff like that. So I'm not asking for you guys to give me money. I'm just asking for you guys to just click on those buttons that say subscribe, thumbs up, follow, all those buttons. So if you want to do that, if you want to help me out, head over to facebook.com/lngcast. That's my Facebook. And like me on there. Follow me on there. You can even follow and then mute me. I don't really care, honestly. If you are on Twitter, follow me. Mute me. If you don't want to hear what I have to say, just mute me. I really hope you don't, because I like it when you guys come and view these, but I'm essentially begging, guys. I'm begging. I'm kidding. But follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and if you get bored and want to see what I'm up to, I stream every day after the shows, or I'm sorry, the show, Late Night Gaming. I will have a Twitch .tv. I will be probably doing some more WildStar. Me and the Guild, Altaholics, on Moricos or Miracos. I can't pronounce it. But I'll put it in the Twitch preview. So twitch.tv/unfitgames. Again, guys, everywhere you follow me, everywhere you want to support me, that's how you do it. If you want to just hand me money, latenightgaming.net. There's a donation tab right there. You can donate to me right there. And again, everything's going to go back into this show. I will even post receipts if you want me to. That's my goal, is to get the show running as professionally as possible. I'm hoping to get some more people to help me out on the website, because I want to give more content. I want more people writing things for me. And I hope that you guys will, if you're interested in doing that, please feel free to submit your article, or maybe a piece of work that you want me to put up on the website. I will read it, and I will post it if I think it's in line with where I want my show to be. So, just like any other syndicate, they're all going to read it. They're all going to take the best of the best. And for me, the best of the best is if you just write and put it in there. So if you want to do that, latenightgaming.net/contact us, and that'll get you right to the page there. If not, if you can't find it that way, just latenightgaming.net, hit the contact us page there. Without you guys, I really don't have a reason to do this. I mean, I can talk all day long, as you guys may have figured out, but if no one's going to watch and listen, then I really don't have too much of a reason to keep doing this. So feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll respond to it as best I can. You guys have a great night. Head over to twitch.tv/unfitgames, and that's where I'll be.